does anybody other than me miss the good old days? Like, before you had to check your kids' pouches, your high C pouches for mold. Like, before you had to use all this sanitizer. Like, before all these vaccines and all of these different shots came along. Before it was necessary to get all this organic food. Like, do you guys remember the good old days where you could just share, everybody eating one lollipop, everybody, or not lollipop, everybody eating one lily dilly? Our world has been ridden with a lot of germs, and I understand that. But in the same breath, I miss the good old days where you could give your kid a high C pouch and not worry about mold in it. I just saw that on Facebook. And I'm sorry, I'm just feeling like, man, what happened to the good old days where you didn't have to think that hard? Like, for my son, I got to think about all that stuff now. Like vaccines and germs, especially for someone who does this all the time. And just think about all kinds of foolishness that constantly comes on or goes on in today's world. The sad part is, back in the 80s and 90s, I don't remember it being this big of a thing. Like, the biggest thing that I remember as a child, well, the thing that they always brought up, drugs. Constantly told me I to not smoke. Now all of a sudden, it's all about germs now, and Ebola, and H1N1, and malaria, and what happened to the good old days? I will say that I don't know exactly how long she had this high C pouch, or if it was expired with her or not, but I'll tell you what, I do believe that 9 times out of 10, it had to been new to her for her to put it up as if, you know, there was an issue with it. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense that she would be stupid enough to know it's expired and to look in the pouch and to show it like as if, oh my God, I was going to give this to my kid. Like, I don't think she was that dumb. And if she was, excuse this rant. On that note, I'm putting my son in a bubble because Cuddles added to the fire. He just added pedophiles to the list of things that you have to worry about with the child. Now listen, like I said, what happened to the good old days? I'm sure, yes, I know pedophiles existed then too. But gee whiz, like, the laws of this world of today are ridiculous and getting more ridiculous. Like, I could go down the list, but we'd be here all day because I believe that I know quite a bit of information in that department that a lot of people don't because it's not mainstream media. You actually have to go look for this news. This is news that you have to go and research and find to be sure that it is even a thing. But I know that it's a thing. I know it's a real struggle to live in today's world with the laws and the way that things are and how everything is artificially flavored and things like that. So, but I really do miss the good old days when you could drink your Coke, eat your Snickers, drop the Snickers on the ground, 5-second rules, rinse it off, eat it, and not worry about nothing. Now, to those science heads, I want to say, yes, I am pretty much a nerd myself. So I go and research these things as well. I'm not saying that science is not advanced to the point where they start to discover new diseases that they didn't know existed then, or maybe they didn't have the proper the proper vaccines, the proper care that was needed back then to take care of it. So therefore, the disease probably was later discovered, or, you know, anything that you can go ahead and dish out at me. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is we didn't worry about it. Like, honestly, I'm a science head, but your immune system was made for a reason. Sometimes it does need, you know, a little push, I guess, with medications. But think about all of the side effects that come with the medications. A lot of times it's worse than just living with the disease itself. So, I'm kind of on the fence with that. But I digress. I just really miss the good old days when you didn't have to worry about things like that. If you want to call it being a little naive, whatevs. You know what I mean? But I personally I don't know. Like, I just... The more that I continue to live and the more that I see, the more stuff that you find out used to be safe is bad for you. That's what I think this boils down to. Like, we always thought our high C pouches was safe. There's mold in it, people. And I'm not saying it's not possible, and I'm not saying that every single Hi-C pouch is filled with mold. But it's one of those things where you don't know, because remember, you can't see through the box. How this lady decided, or what made this lady decide to open it, Jesus, God did it. I don't know why, what made her possessed her to go ahead and open it, but thank God she did, because there was mold inside. So that's all I'm simply saying. It's like, you can't trust nothing. Don't believe anything you see. Don't believe anything you hear. Question everything. Question everything. I can't say that more than enough. Like, you guys have to question everything, because at the end of the day, you can't trust nothing in this world. The way the world is now, you can't trust it.